Good afternoon, sir. My name is Jamie. Before I start, I just say that I'm not a Christian. But what I want to say is not a personal attack on religion itself. But I feel that today I have to bring up some points of contention which I have against your message. Okay, I agree with you totally of what you said just now, that what lies at the root of this debate is whether you believe in God or not. No. Is that what you're trying to say?
Alright, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you are saying that people who do not believe in God do not even have a logical framework to argue it because they are basing it on human emotions.
Morality.
Morality, yes. Right? Yes. And so you point the example of Hitler and Stalin and so on and so forth. What I do not like about these examples, although they illustrate the dangers of not having moral values based on religion, is the fact that there is an underlying assumption that people who do not have religion cannot act for the good of mankind. There are so many other historical figures in history who have contributed to humanity, and they themselves were not staunch Christians or Buddhists or whatsoever.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. That's not the argument.
Okay. I mean, that is an underlying assumption.
No, it is not. It is not. The underlying assumption, again I say, is not that a person who doesn't believe in God is a bad person. I never said that. I said there is no rational basis, and even I didn't say that. Atheists have said that.
Okay, so you're saying that rationality can only exist in morality if you believe...
Morality is unjustifiable even in rationality.
Yeah, I mean it's only justifiable through God and not emotions. But to have emotions is to be human, you see, and to make mistakes is to be human. So what you're trying to say is that for the price of world peace, we have to give up this freedom of feelings and emotions, which will lead to mistakes, but will as well lead to the advancement of mankind. So by subjugating our emotions to the rules set out by one objective God, which in a way I have disagreements over whether it's objective in the first place and to which God are you referring to. As you said, there are many religions in the world, and the ideal case is that everyone believes in one God. Right. But as I said, to have emotions is to be human, so it's impossible for us humans to ever believe in one God. And you were saying that, I agree with you that it is important to have meaning in life, and you said that we can only find meaning if we believe in God. But I think that's a very sweeping statement, and there's so many other ways besides material needs and God to find meaning in life.
Hey, Jamie, I think your questions are very valid. I appreciate what you're saying. Again, let me respond to both of them because I think you're bypassing some very critical reason in the process of saying what you're saying. G.K. Chesterton said the tragedy of disbelieving in God is not that a person ends up believing in nothing. He says, alas, it is much worse. A person may end up believing in anything. That's what I'm saying to you. You may choose to be a very decent moral human being, and there have been wonderful decent moral human beings in existence. They're not all Stalins, they're not all Hitlers. You've got many decent, notable, virtuous living people. The point I'm making, and I want you to hear me very clearly, is that atheism has granted that there is no rational basis on which to condemn one over against the other. It is purely pragmatic. So you lose your right, first of all, to make a difference. You are making a difference, but you don't have the metaphysical framework with which to make the difference. It's purely your decision over somebody else's one. Why is yours better than theirs? The second thing you say is that the emotional aspect of freedom is very important. Absolutely. That's why God doesn't violate it. God has given you the freedom to either choose or to reject, but you cannot make a choice without taking its entailments as well. That's all God has said.
That's what I'm against. You give up the freedom of choosing your metaphysical, your innermost beliefs, because what you're saying is that you have to believe in God in the first place, and that in itself is a sacrifice of your freedom.
You don't have to believe in God in the first place at all. You have to believe that there is such a thing as truth. Okay? And I'm saying to you that the truth factor is surrendered morally, meaningfully, in hope, and in recovery by the naturalistic framework. Even Bertrand Russell said this. He said, I cannot live by the logical outworkings of what I'm saying, so in some cases I will have to act as if God actually exists. So which means he's living with systemic contradiction. And your point is very well taken. The emotional privilege of freedom is a very big one, Jamie. But I think you're misunderstanding the alternative. I do not feel any sense of compulsion in my emotions just to follow God. In fact, I am now freer than I have ever been before. It is what Jesus said, if you abide in my word, you are then my disciples. Then you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. I am saying to you that in denying God, you're actually in bondage to your own emotions. You do not ultimately know the purpose of life. And
Why is there a precondition to the acceptance of God? That's what I'm against.
Is there a precondition?
It's like, as you say, like, as long as you open my heart to me, then the rest will follow. So there is always this, it cannot be that you find out more about me, then you choose whether to open.
Are you angry with the law of gravity? If you jump, what do you think is going to happen?
But I can always escape gravity by going out of space.
Well, yeah, you have to find counter means, but you're taking the law of gravity into consideration, aren't you?
Yes, that's true.
Absolutely.
But they are assuming that God is a law, and that's what I'm against.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that God exists as an entity.
And that's a personal opinion.
No.
I mean, I can believe that there's no God, right?
Would you like to give me an argument of why I believe God exists? And
a logical argument not based on personal opinion.
No, not on personal experience. Not on personal experience. And if you read the book, Can Man Live Without God? You see, if you and I were only arguing on personal experience, we wasted our time. Personal opinion, even worse. Personal opinion is even worse than personal experience. At least in experience, somebody can say, I've had such and such opinion, is this what I believe? So it's not personal opinion.